Welcome everybody to another episode of Karen's Kids Podcast, episode number 23 on that ass boy with my homie Jose.
Always, what's up everybody?
And our producer
welcome.
Adrian. What's going on, buddy?
Cheers.
Cheers. We just were talking for about 15 straight minutes and nothing was recording, so let's cheers to that, buddy. It's all right. One day we'll have this all figured out.
Yeah.
But you know what? We were talking about, Halloween's around the corner.
Yep.
So I started saying, who came up with the idea of like candy and Halloween being synonymous? And I'm like, it's got to be the candy companies, somehow the sugar industry like really promotes that, and then that leads into childhood obesity. I was like, I don't want to add to that. I don't pass out candy. Maybe I'm like a Grinch when it comes to Halloween, but it's like, I don't want to keep giving kids crack.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a drug.
How many pounds of sugar is consumed on that day of Halloween, you think?
I don't know.
Pounds.
Well, lots.
How many people started the process of diabetes on Halloween? You know what I'm saying? It's like that was the last amount of sugar you can have before your body's like, nope, you got diabetes.
Yeah.
It's
crazy,
man. It's so
crazy.
fucked.
Yeah, I mean, but that comes with the price of living in a country that's so blessed.
Right.
We have it all.
Right. It's not fair to kids. If you're a kid under 10 and you're obese,
yeah,
that's your fucking parents' fault. And they are setting you up for failure. You're going to fucking...
Do you think it's because like parents are so busy at work or just about their own thing, or now that there's like so many single family homes, it's a coping mechanism?
I think it's that. I also do think I just want to make my kid happy. He likes McDonald's. So I'm just going to make him happy because...
just like a love thing. I love you so much here.
It also could be the anti-parent. What I mean by that is like, instead of like having a teachable moment, you just give in to your kid's wants. And it's like, instead of like me having to deal with, well, when I say no, then he's going to come back and maybe upset, possibly even cry. Me as a parent, I want to avoid all that. I'll just get the kid what he wants. If your kid's obese, yeah, you're doing not a good job as a parent. And this is coming from a person who has no kids.
So yeah, I mean,
but you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's definitely one of those things that you have to learn how to balance. Like everything, you have to learn how to balance it. You got to be the type of mean that's not abusive.
Right.
You got to be the type of good that's not a pushover. You know what I mean? So they balance all these things out. It's hard, man, being a parent. I could see why so many fathers leave the home and how many mothers give up on their families.
How were you with Adrian? As a kid, did you let him have candy and sweets? Did you give him with the stuff you were eating?
Yeah, you know what? I think so, but I mean, look at him.
That's where I was leading to. It's like this kid's like 130 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah. Right.
So I would say, teaching kids like the sugar, like so I was working at the Nabisco place, they make Chips Ahoy cookies and they make all the
Mondelez.
Was it Bevid? Belvita, all those little morning biscuits, cookies, all the bullshit, all the sugar cookies. Anyways,
all the good ones, Oreos.
And actually, I can't totally figure out where I was going to go with that.
Sugar, fat.
Oh yeah. So we're talking about like just sugar being. It needs to be classified as a drug. Because it is a drug.
Like a Schedule 1?
I don't know about right? It has no medical fucking use.
It
should be.
No medical use causes addiction like a motherfucker.
And it's just one of those addictions. It's one of those drugs that just...
Should we schedule sugar?
It's just socially acceptable. Obviously, it's like, oh, who doesn't like a little... But, man, give a kid a cookie for the first time. You see us fucking eyes light up. It's like, that's drugs, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, a baby for the first time.
I know. You ever see those videos where they have the baby and they'll have like... They'll give them a strawberry or a raspberry for the first time. You see their face just fucking...
Yeah, they just light up.
Light up.
So I heard that... I don't know if this is true, but I think that the Jewish community, when they circumcise their babies, that's the first time they ever get sugar. So they snip the baby's dick or his foreskin, and then they give him sugar, and the baby's like, ouch, oh shit, this is good. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they try to... So having the worst pain that baby's ever dealt with the best thing he's ever tasted at the same time.
Yeah.
So I could
it's
see that.
Interesting that they give him sugar.
Like a sugar cube or like what?
I'm not sure what it is. It's candy. It's sugar. Well, without a doubt, it's sugar.
What a weird thing, though, circumcision. All right, let's just break that. Let's just think about that. Cutting, like, who the fuck thought of that? All humans forever. All the men had dicks, and they were all fucking cavemen, Neanderthal, always fucking with foreskin.
I have a theory.
Okay, it's a religious thing, and it's like you can make the argument with hygiene because
no, come on,
dude. Okay, I'm gonna break a little something down to you that you probably don't even know. I didn't get circumcised until I was 19. Let that sink in. I'm dead ass.
Seriously?
I'm dead ass.
Holy fuck! All right,
so
okay, tell me about it.
So in high school, I did feel a type of way about it. And I've talked to a few other people who were uncircumcised. I don't know. It's just like girls almost looked down on it.
Come on.
And it did have smells sometimes. Like that fucking, even if I take showers and clean it, the skin being over, it still has a little thing. So like, I don't know if the religious.
So none of us wear turtlenecks here. We're all circumcised.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty common. I mean, actually, although it's getting more and more common to be uncircumcised. But I still feel like I got the best of both worlds. Okay, so I got my shit.
Explain.
So people who are uncircumcised claim they have more sensitivity on their dick because it's covered.
Okay.
And then, you dealt with your whole life with your head being exposed, so it becomes desensitized. Like, that makes sense. I feel like I got the best of, like, my shit's still really sensitive.
Yeah. I hear
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, the healing process was kind of interesting because I was working at a factory at the time. I just decided to do it. I was, like, insecure about it. Like I said, and then it's just like a whole thing. Like, before the girls would go down, I'd have to fucking pull it back, making sure my shit looked normal. And some people
you had to press the button for convertible.
Sure, the turtle had to come out of the shell, and it's just like, most chicks are used, especially like in the younger days. Like most chicks are just used to circumcised to the point where when you were uncircumcised, like some people I've heard girls, I've seen it. And been there where girls are like, oh, I wouldn't touch a dick that's uncircumcised. And it's like, what? So it planted like weird insecurities in my head. So
dude, that's hate speech.
A little bit, you know?
That's hate speech.
And at 19, I was just like, man, fuck it. I just went and did it. My girlfriend was for it at the time.
Yeah.
And then, so basically there was like a 2-week period where like I had like stitches, like they cut around and they stitch it up. And I basically had like a cast like on my dick for like 2 weeks because the skin has to fully heal. But then and I'm working in a factory, so I'm working manual. I'm kind of moving around.
Yeah.
The day I got it off, I'm like, man, my fucking head was so sensitive, dude. Like it rubbing against my boxers, my jeans. It was like a whole new thing. It's like this shit's fucking exposed now.
Yeah.
And so that third week, I made my own cast. Like my shit was so sensitive. I was like I need a little. Sand? No, I fucking put like gauze and like tape. Just kind of I just made like a buffer. You know, it's just
It's like you make a sling for your dick.
Basically, like
it went over your shoulder.
Yeah, fucking.
So it was an over shoulder ball holder.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Wow. You know, I'm fucking slanging. No, So, but then after that, like I remember, like sex for the first time was whatever, but I still remember feeling like really sensitive. I remember because
so when you had sex, it was like whatever.
It wasn't any different necessarily, like crazy different for me, and I think that's a good thing because I was so used to the sensitivity.
Okay,
you know, so so then boom. then I'm circumcised, and
So-
then I felt better about it.
So now okay, that's what I was gonna
I do,
ask.
yeah, hell yeah. Oh, I think it was a great decision. Although, like, you see a little scar, you know, if you know what you're really looking for. I mean, most chicks won't know what they're looking at. It looks like any other dick. But now you could still see a little bit of the old scar,
Okay.
which is interesting because, like, how do they know exactly where to cut? You know, it's like it's a weird thing because it's not like you just fucking lifted the elephant trunk and just fucking snipped it. I think there's more like the way the you know how your bottom of the head kind of all connects there.
Sure.
Right. I think you have to slit like around that, so it's not like a perfect circle. You know what I'm saying? They have to like, I don't know how to explain it. Cut it like a spade.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I was circumcised as a baby, but Adrian was actually, well, I don't know if he wants to put this out there, but I think he was probably like 5 or 6 years old. But 19, that's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So let me ask this. So when you got cut, did the doctor put sugar in your mouth? Give you a Snickers?
No. No, I did. I was out though. I definitely, or they don't. I don't think they call it technically. I was out, but they put you like where you're so relaxed. You're technically legally awake.
Was it like not nitrous oxide asleep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
And insurance covered it.
Okay.
My mom's insurance at the time when I was like 19. Yeah, she had fucking whatever good Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they covered it.
Okay, cool.
'Cause I remember talking to the doctor. I was like, "Hey, is this like can I do this?" And he was like, "Absolutely!" Like he was like all for it.
I mean, yeah, you were old enough to make the decision.
Right.
And did you look into all the issues that may have happened?
Zero.
Wow, you're very lucky.
And he was an older, like European dude.
Oh,
like
he was ready.
Yeah, I'm sure he's seen enough dicks in his time that he knew what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting thing, just
That
to like,
and
because he's a
proctologist.
urologist. I think they're called urologists.
Urologists and like ass doctors.
They just look at dicks all day.
Yeah.
So you know what I was thinking about? Like when I was on probation for DuPage, I had to do piss tests all the time. There was one dude's job. All he did was watch you pee. He just looked at and the way Cook County is like, oh, they'd stand behind your back, but DuPage, they want to see your dick. They want to see that piss coming from your dick into the cup, because people are using the fake pisses and the fake dicks, you know.
I mean, come on, man.
Dude, so I remember the first time I tried to do it, and I get the shy bladder, you know, like as a kid.
Yeah.
I can't just like at the Cubs games, I can't piss in that trough. I have to be the first one there, and I have to be already started. Okay. And then if people come, I'm fine.
Okay.
But I got the shy bladder, so I got this guy's fucking staring at me, and I'm like, okay, be cool, you know.
Staring at you,
motherfucker. He's where you're at,
and he's just looking down,
and he's staring.
Come on,
I'm dead ass serious, and I'm like, do you have to be right there?
Was that before or after the circumcision?
After.
Okay, because I was wondering if he was like he'd never seen a circumcision. He's like, what the fuck is that? He's
wearing that elephant. Was that elephant trunk?
Little aardvark.
But then, I went. I couldn't go, and he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna have to fail you. I go, why you gotta fail me? He's like, well, you're not giving me a sample. I was like, well, can I just sip it? He's like, all right, go drink some more water and sit over there. And then I went. I tried to go again. Couldn't go a second time.
You have pisser's anxiety.
Right. Whatever they call it. Shy bladder, whatever you want to call it. I drank so much water after that. And he said, if you can't go again, I got to turn it into the courts that you failed. Which doesn't make me look good.
Right.
Which I'm clean. I have no problem giving my urine sample. I actually literally do have a problem giving my urine sample.
So after the water went through your system, did you piss so hard you peed over the cup?
I had to wait to the point where I'm fucking holding my dick and balls. And that point where it's like you don't even want people to talk to you because you're like, shut the fuck up, I have to pee.
I never been there.
Oh my God, to the point where it's like I'm starting to accept the fact that I'm going to piss my pants soon, you know? When I went in the third time, I didn't care if his face was right next to my dick. I was pissing. Pissed. And then the whole day after that, I'm like, this fucking guy's job all day is to look at dicks, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is he a little freak and loves it? Or is it like, I don't know. Or is it he just think if it's a job, it's like he's getting paid. I'm sure there's got to be some hazard paid for that, right? To stare at dudes' dicks all day.
I don't know. Maybe he likes it. Maybe he likes the shape of a dick.
Oh, and what was funny, it was an older dude, right? Probably late 50s. And then it became some like 23-year-old kid. Like who was, I don't know, his apprentice, his
apprentice?
His
an apprentice?
He had a lab coat. He looked official. And I'm like, this kid is just going to stare at dicks all day for 8 to 10 hours.
Whoa.
Bananas.
Yeah, that's crazy. I recently, about it probably was 2 months ago, I was working at the O'Hare, but I was working downstairs right where the CTA meets the O'Hare Airport. Okay. So my bathroom was the bathroom
the public uses?
The public bathroom. But down there's a lot of homeless people.
I'm sure it smells great.
Well, it's ripe.
Yeah. Anyways, have you ever walked into a woman's bathroom? It's always so clean and smells nice.
What?
Ladies, if you ever walked into a man's bathroom, any public, it's the polar opposite of what your bathroom is.
Look, I don't think so. I owned a restaurant, and I had a male and a female restaurant, and it was my job to clean the bathrooms. The ladies' bathroom was always blown the fuck up. It was upside fucking down every fucking time. I was like, holy shit. Like, seriously? Anyways, getting back to the hotel, the airport job that I was working at. Mm-hmm. I'm minding my own business, man. I got to go to the bathroom. There's this big, I'm talking about 6'7".
Ooh, an Amazonian?
Black dude.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about a chick.
He may have been from the Amazon. Big dude. Probably mixed breed. Okay. Maybe Indian black, but he's homeless.
Ooh. He's got a funk to him.
Bro, got this big old jacket. He's standing in front of the sink. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, man. Right? I'm hearing this. Bro, I swear to God, this is a true story, man. I walk over. I go to wash my hands. I look over. This dude got a mic like this.
In the bathroom?
Bro, he was so tall, his dick was in the sink.
Oh.
Huge. I'm talking, it was
impressive?
It was huge. It was impressive. I looked over and I was like, God damn, I'm never using that sink again. Washed my hands, didn't touch anything, walked out and just let my fingers air dry as I walked out. But I was like, God damn. That's
crazy.
So be careful when you go to these public bathrooms.
I wonder if there's ever going to be, there should be a study done on bums or homeless, unhoused, whatever you want to call them, and their immune system.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're probably great.
Yeah, they probably kill AIDS.
Right? Like, they're so used to dirt and grime and...
Some of them.
All of them.
But the best of them, they probably can fight off Ebola.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I bet you it's like, because I always think of because my immune system is fucking A100.
Okay.
I rarely get sick.
You say that, but Corona, you're on your way. You're going to Mexico next week.
Corona bounced off me. I'm not scared of Mexico. My fucking my stomach will hold up.
Okay. Don't drink the water.
Nah, hell no. Bottled only. I said that. I'm like, listen, I need some cases of water.
Yep.
All bottled.
Yep.
It's gonna be fucking I'm going from Thursday to Monday. So from Thursday to Monday, I'll be drinking. The last time I did that, I went to New Orleans with the same group.
Yeah.
Like the whole New Orleans thing.
Yeah.
My fucking hand by the third day, I'm telling you, like I'm touching. It's legit. Like the liquor shakes. It's the third day of drinking. For 2 days in a row is easy. But the third day of drinking.
Let's call it sugar so you could relax on it a little bit, yeah?
Sugar?
Yeah. Say it's sugar.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Like sugar is bad for children. You better take it easy on those drinks.
Oh, I know. Actually, I haven't drank since last week.
Okay, well,
so
that's good.
That's an improvement.
That's an improvement. It's a little bit.
But as of late, I would say this year I become more of a drinker. I used to always say I'm not a drinker, I'm a smoker. And then something happened where I was like, I really fucking like cocktails. And then I started making them, and now I got a few tricks up my sleeve. I like it.
Well, I mean, when it comes to drinks, like there's something you have to perfect, right? It's like you're mixing a potion, right? And you have to learn it, and it's a endeavor, something you have to build towards to get better at. I think that's what you like about it.
I like,
but you also like the buzz.
Oh hell, I love an alcohol buzz of like 2 drinks.
Yeah,
it's like perfect. It's like I get loose, you know. I like where my mind goes. Conversation always gets better. You know, you're out with the girlfriend or whatever, and then just all of a sudden, your conversation's getting way better.
Bro, you're killing it. Circumcised, going to Mexico, got a girl, mixing drinks.
Circumcised, gotta do it. Hey, you're killing it, kid. You're circumcised. You're fucking.
Yeah, hey, I know. You know what? But what fucking trips me out is women would hate on your fucking. On your shirt over your dick. Like that's natural. We're supposed to look that way. It's unnatural to have the fucking circumcision.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's such a weird. So how is it a religious thing? Explain it.
Well, I think, man, I don't really know how it's a religious thing, but
Adrian, look that up.
But the simple fact is like
circumcision and religion. How those are a thing.
You're doing something, right? That's like, I mean, obviously your piece is something to reproduce, and we are called to be fruitful and multiply,
right?
And yeah, I think it's just like a dedication to God.
Why did the Jew like? Did they inherently know about like the hygiene of it? Did they like? Do you think they kind of knew that? So it was like, oh, we should. I don't know.
Well, it's for sure 100% a ritual,
right?
You know, and it's a ritual dedicated to God. But I don't know.
I remember I was driving on Harlem by my mom's house. There was these 2 guys wearing all white, and they redded their fucking dick, and they said circumcision is abuse. It was signs, and I put it on my Snapchat.
Well, one of the things that we haven't talked about is like you're 19. What would have happened if your circumcision went wrong?
Oh, fuck.
And you lose your dick.
Oh, right.
Or
your whole life is different because think about it. Most thing men do, whether it's career, almost everything leads to what you're doing is because you want to make yourself the best mate possible.
Right.
I want to make myself look as best for procreation as possible.
Yeah.
So I get that job. I go to the gym. All that kind of leads to like, I want to do these things for more sex. So if your dick gets fucking mutilated to maybe the point where it's like, you're either so insecure about it where you never want to show anyone, maybe you have a fucking really deformed, unfunctional dick.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I would probably go straight into like fucking money. I think my mind would go like, how do I amass the most amount of money I can just to say fuck you to everyone? I don't know. I think that's where my mind would go. Is like, let me, instead of focusing on women and whatever, it's like that same energy goes towards like starting a business or, you know.
You called it mutilation. I think that's exactly what it is. It is mutilation because we're not meant to have we're like our biology or the way we grow up, the way we develop is with a hood.
That's right. That's a good argument. It's like if our body didn't get rid of the hood in our evolution, it means we need it for some reason.
Yeah, are you trying to say that your dog doesn't need a tail? You know how people cut their tail off?
I hate that,
bro.
Or their ears when they cut the ears. I feel so bad. It's like that dog, for those couple weeks, thinks you just fucking hurt it. It doesn't know you're trying to do it for sport or whatever, you know?
Well, if our dick was alive, we'd be like, what the fuck are you doing to me?
What do they do with that skin when they're done?
They eat it.
That would be... What if that was like a rite of passage back in the day? It was like, you cut your son's foreskin, but you got to eat it as a father.
Adrian, what did you find? Hey, I actually think that the Jewish people suck on the blood.
What if they dried it out?
Did you just hear me?
Do it, suck out of. Hey, no, that one guy. There was a priest who got in trouble for doing, like, sucking babies off and then gave some babies herpes because he fucked it. That's like a Christian thing. Yeah, that was
I
two
don't want to
different
talk
things.
about this.
We can go into it.
Let's go into something
It
else.
shit got dark real quick.
Yeah, dude.
But
I know
how
it's Halloween. I know it's Halloween, but holy
All
shit.
Hallows Eve.
Yeah. So, Adrian, what'd you find?
So sometime between 12,000 and 8,000 BC, it was a sacrificial ritual to ensure virility and fertility, a rite of passage marking entrance to adulthood.
Was it like the
Oh,
Egyptian
shit.
thing? Like who was it Jewish? Like who started it?
12,000 years ago. You're
North
talking.
Africa, so Algeria, Egypt,
Okay.
Right.
the area.
The
So it's like a
Mesopotamians.
sacrificial thing.
Bro,
They used to do all time. They would didn't they? They used to kill mass people. Like I heard
sure.
I forgot what it was. They killed like 10,000 people at once for a sacrifice.
That was probably in Mexico.
I forgot what it was. I don't know if it
It's
was
probably
like
that town you're headed to.
I think it was an Aztec thing. It could have been an Aztec
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's where you're going
Oh,
to
yeah,
celebrate
you're
that
right.
wedding.
word. I
But
forgot even where I'm going.
So it's a ritual, you said, right, Adrian? He said a rite of passage. Now it makes me think about how women.
Who, but was that a singular person's idea? Like the high priestess at that time is like, the gods have spoke to me, and we need to cut the hood off these babies. Like,
was
where do you make that leap?
It was probably a bitch that was tired of pulling back the head to suck on it and be like, man, we need to get rid of this shit.
Do you think they did blowjobs in the fucking pyramid days?
Man, they ate ass. Yes.
Yeah, true. They used to have brothels and all that. Yeah. They were probably getting freaky.
Dude, of course. But here, I thought about this. A ritual, and he said rite of passage. So when a woman bleeds, or when a young girl, right, bleeds, it's her rite of passage to become a woman. Maybe this is the men's version of becoming a man. He has to bleed too.
Yeah, but I wonder what age they decided to do that at. Was it when
Well,
they
he
were
said rite of passage, which means,
like 14 or like in the teens?
I don't know, 12, 13. But also a girl, right? Maybe there's a link there with she bleeds, we should bleed too. I don't know.
You know what I'm looking forward to
Just
in
a thought.
Mexico
What's that?
is seeing the night sky. I don't think I've ever seen a night sky full of stars.
Okay, first of all, where are you going?
Fuck. I don't know. It's some San something. San Jose.
Okay, because I feel like you're assuming all of Mexico is dark.
I just know I'm not going to a big city.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. You know, I'm going to my buddy's wedding, and his parents have a place. I forget where, and it's just like it's not in Cancun, it's not in Cabo, it's not the touristy places. So he's like, it's a smaller town. I think it's like a little. I think they got a nicer house. I think the parents got a little bit of money. So I think
That's cool.
Yeah. So
All right, cool. You're gonna hang out with the narcos.
I know. I told him, I'm like, hey man, am I gonna be good? But then I'm like, the news fucking implanted all that fear in me.
Or
But think about it. The news. If you listen to the news, you would never come to Chicago. The 25 shootings every weekend that happen.
or
Or
you could get your head cut off.
come on. I don't know. He says I'll
I
be
don't-
safe.
I don't
He
know
said
about
I'll
you.
be safe.
Okay, well, if he
And
said
plus,
that,
it's not like I'm going out by myself. There's going to be another white boy, actually. It's going to be me and my boy, Nate. And
but you pass.
Well, we're going to be... But yeah, okay, I know. I think I do.
Yeah, you
Because I get
pass.
spoken to in Spanish almost every day.
Yeah. You're like, hey, wait.
Yeah, right? Orderly. No, but there's... I'm going to be with like 20, 30 guys at any moment.
Okay,
so it's going to be...
Because there'll be a lot of.
Yeah, we should
beheadings.
be all right. No. He said the cartel's not really a presence over there, or where he's at. I don't think.
Interesting. Anyways, moving on. So,
Tell me.
yeah, no, I was just thinking about that ritual thing. I feel like I made a really cool connection there, but that's just me. Anyways,
what was the connection again?
well, a rite of passage for
Oh.
female is to become bleed
Right,
for the
right,
first
right.
time, and then male is to bleed.
Yeah,
for
but they
this.
always had like rite of passages of like going for your first hunt, killing your first thing is
Sure.
a rite of passage,
Yeah.
or I think in some of the Native American cultures they would take peyote and go in the fucking desert for
Yeah.
5 days, and that was the rite of passage.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would you?
It could, but rite of passage for like no, but like that seems more accurate. It's like it's a sacrifice, but how would they even know it would work? How would they know your dick would be functional afterwards?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, no one ever talks about the mutilations that actually don't work out. Or, I'm sorry, the circumcisions that don't work out, where babies actually lose their penis and they grow up without a penis. Or it's just completely, it doesn't look like a mushroom now. I don't know, he has a fucking...
I wonder what the percentage of babies getting circumcised and then the long-term complications. Because I think
Adrian?
it's probably really...
How many babies?
That's going to be interesting Google search. How many baby dicks?
Don't write baby dicks. Just write, so percentage of circumcisions that go awry or something like that.
Yeah, because I bet you it's a low percentage because
Yeah,
they've been doing
modern
this for a
medicine.
while.
Right.
Isn't it kind of crazy to think about, like, the Egyptians were doing surgeries. They were doing brain surgeries. Like, you could see pictures of them doing stuff to the brain. Like,
Yeah.
they were doing surgeries. And they even found old tools that they were using.
Yeah, dude, I often wonder if we just think back that because they were a society that's way older than us, we think that they were like dumb people and maybe they had super technologies that we haven't just figured out.
I agree.
You know, it might not be aliens. Maybe it was just they fucking figured shit out.
I think the pyramids were built. I think there's something to do with sound waves. I've watched a few things
How
talking.
do you figure, though?
I've watched a few things that talked about like certain frequencies because we're all a frequency, right?
Okay.
We're all electrons and protons and neutrons and all that.
And Geminis and Sagittariuses.
So I think there's certain sound waves that can affect matter. Now, I don't know. I just, like I said, I've heard a few things. Like there's this old man. I think we've talked about this before, but there was this old man who made this like statue thing for his wife, and there was like these big old stupid rocks. It's like no way this fucking old guy. Yeah,
megalithic.
there was no way this
yeah, I
old
did
guy,
hear about this
and
guy.
he claimed he was visited by an alien.
Okay.
And they gave him this device that messed with the frequency. I don't know, and it made me. I don't know. It kind of is like that's because humans can't lift some of these blocks that are on the pyramid.
Right.
They can't lift it. They're like 10,000 tons. I don't know. That I made that number up, but they're big. They're stupid big. Where
sure
it's like
that number
our
is a
modern
real
machines
number.
right now could not lift them, and they're perfectly cut. And then you start going into all the like the dimensions have all this mathematical equations about it. It's like it's pretty crazy.
It is pretty insane. Adrian, what'd you find? What percentage of circumcisions do not work out?
During a 5-year period at the Massachusetts General Hospital, 7.4% of all visits were for, or 7%, 7.4% of all visits to a pediatric urologist were for circumcision complications.
So 7% they have complications, and obviously they're not going to tell us.
That's a
7, like okay, so
that's a pretty low number. Like think about how
7%.
many babies are born every day.
yeah, but 7 out of 100, dude. There's complications.
Oh yeah, that does sound.
Like how many people walk into a hospital?
But what do they
per day?
consider a complication?
I mean, it could be
Is it
from
like
an infection.
Yeah,
to,
I wonder
oh,
what that breakdown is to permanent like non-use. You know what I'm saying? Because it could be damaged, but still usable. You find the right kind of girl, or maybe you're so rich that some girls like, I'll look past your fucking deformed
No,
mushroom head.
no. I do.
What about the guys? Listen,
I'd rather be that big black dude washing his dick in the old hair.
what about the guys born with a micro dick, micro penis? Like the things like an inch or two. Like I got the biggest micro penis there is. But
Well, how do you know? Have you seen all the biggest micro?
I've seen a lot of
okay.
micro dicks in my time.
What's a micro dick?
You ever look at it like Google Images?
No.
Adrian.
No,
I'm
don't look that up. That's my computer. Do not look that up.
I'm joking.
No, but what's a microphone?
I totally meant that. By
inch?
the way,
2 inch?
I meant to have our. By next week, I'll have the monitor up.
Yeah. What is categorized as a micro dick? Don't look that up.
Right. What? I don't.
1 inch?
Yeah, I think it's like literally a couple inches.
Wait, isn't
It's
the minimum to like for a woman orgasm is like 3.5, 4 inches?
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So I guess maybe under that would be micro.
I would imagine anything under 3 inches is like a legit micro dick. Hard. What kind of life do you have? Like as a man, that would fuck your confidence up to the fullest. Most likely, I almost guarantee that all the men with a micro dick are obese. Because they're never going to find a girl. They're so unhappy with themselves that the food...
Oh yeah, they
full
cope.
circle back to obesity.
Yeah, they
it's
cope
like
with the food.
They cope with the food.
Yeah, damn.
And it's like
It's sad, dude, because the stats are like only 20% of men have sex.
you know what? That's interesting.
The
That's
total
very
percent
interesting.
of all men on the planet, only 20% have sex.
Regular sex, right?
Sex.
What does that even mean? Like once a week
Sex.
or period?
Sex. Period.
That's very interesting because I've been fortunate, I guess.
Yeah, but
Sex
you're one of God's favorites.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Look, dude, young, healthy, strong, good looking. You know what I'm saying? Got money. All right, guys.
Not that much.
All right. Slow the fuck down.
Not that much.
No,
to be
you know what I'm
honest.
saying? Like, you're one of God's favorites. I think I'm one of God's favorites. I've
You
never
know
had a
what?
problem in that area.
No, neither have I guess. That's very interesting of what kind of man that would make you not having sex in high school or college years, like in your 20s or 30s, and all of a sudden your 40s and 50s and you're not getting laid. You probably have a little bit of a different view on life.
Yeah, we work with those guys.
Because imagine your body telling you something.
You need.
Procreation is survival and procreation have to be the two most basic things in our brain. DNA, the most. And if you're not giving your body that most basic thing, your whole life is probably fucking weird.
Cruel.
It has to be.
It's cruel. I remember being much younger than I am today, and all I wanted was sex.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, like it's all I wanted. And like every move I made, every decision I took was for the attaining of a coochie, a pussy.
Right.
You know?
Right. I think our insurance companies, like in Holland, I believe they cover 2 sexual experiences a year for like handicapped people.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we need. So first things first, we need to allow sex workers to be a national legal thing.
Okay.
And then we could have basically legal sanctioned broth houses that will take insurance.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I mean, that's a great talking point.
It's the most basic thing we all do. We all fuck.
We all need.
We all need. We all want. And we all talk about fucking. Yet, it's some like taboo thing still. It's like, that doesn't really make sense. And if a woman wants to sell her body and a man wants to pay for that body, why the fuck isn't that okay? It's not okay for a 15-year-old and a 40-year-old man to do that thing. But if 2 consenting adults want to exchange sex for money, why is that so bad?
Well, exactly, because
all parties work. It all wins. I mean,
Yeah.
all parties win.
Because a 30-year-old and a 30-year-old meet, they can fuck. But if there's money involved, they can't? What?
Well, think about this. Like, most time you're dating a chick, you're taking her out on dinners.
You're still paying for it.
You're paying for it.
Still paying for it.
And at least with like a prostitute, you can pay for above your league.
It's such an ugly word.
It is. Sex worker. You could pay for a sex worker who's way hotter, way out of your league, and you pay her for the hour or however you do it, for the night, hour, day, weekend, whatever, and she lies to you all weekend, making you feel like daddy, making you feel all good. That's worth it. Like, a guy's like, I feel great for this fucking 2 hours. I'm in a wheelchair. No chicks give me any time. I pay this chick whatever money it is, $300-400, and she fucking gives me everything I want, no questions asked, and then leaves when I'm done. There's no pure transaction than that. That's the oldest transaction, I believe, is like sex for something.
Oh, it is.
It has to be.
It is. So here, it comes back to that episode that we were talking about, we need to create an app. You know, because it's like every ugly chick still wants the hot dude. Every ugly dude still wants the hot chick. And that's a big conundrum there. There's something we need to fix there. I think we need a system where you get graded, see where you are, and then have the available women, have them, this is where you are. You're a 3, you're a 2, you know, and you get those people available to you.
Yeah, but a lot of guys, like my 7 and 8 could be somebody's 10. You know, so like the ranking system doesn't necessarily work.
I understand, but I think the ranking system should work the way you rate a restaurant.
So a Yelp for prostitutes.
Not prostitutes.
Sex workers.
Dating. Because I think we need to sit like, all right, I'm not like a woman hater or anything. I consider myself a Christian. I'm religious in a way. And I think that the best thing that we can do is, like, I do believe in marriage, but I just, man, marrying nowadays, it's just, I believe in marriage, but I don't believe in marrying some of the ideas women have today. How do I explain that?
You know, we were texting about this the other day. There's not a lot of benefit. You've already been married. You've done the thing.
Yeah.
You know, now you're single. There's not a lot of benefits for a man to be married. And I think the more men discuss this and the more men share their stories and the internet, it's like we're starting to really think, like, why do we need to get married? It doesn't benefit the man. I'd like to, like, really have a good debate on what are the benefits for the man strictly. And them, I'm talking traditionally, because of course there's going to be some really high valued women who marry maybe a man less than, so he's getting the benefits of it. But traditionally, the man's the one with the job and the working who brings the money in. And so the women gets all the benefit of that, you know, especially if they have kids. It's like the woman in that relationship really has your fucking nuts in the fucking vice grip.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it shouldn't be that way. I think the woman should get the man she wants, right? Mm-hmm. But I also think the man should get the woman he wants. And it's so hard to do that nowadays because it's that thing. It's like, hey, what do you want to eat? But you have a million options.
But for the man, don't you think his taste buds will change? So he can, let's say he finds a young, pretty girl who's willing to do the thing with him.
Yeah.
After a while, he's going to be looking at the next pretty young girl.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think all of us, and you know, you shared a video with me, and it talked about how all men kind of view women at a certain age as their prime.
Yes.
Let's say 20 to 25.
It's 18 to 24.
Let's okay, perfect. A lot of women, when they hear that, they're like, what do you mean that's our prime? I'm better in my 30s. Men aren't necessarily talking about your mental. Like, your mentality, your personality can get better in your 30s. You've been around, you know what's up. But a man strictly physically attracted to a woman is in their early 20s. And that one guy in that video made a good point. We quickly think of a younger chick. Let's say we find a 21-year-old. We immediately think of, like, oh, she hasn't been really run through. She couldn't have fucked that many guys at 21. That makes her look a lot more appealing and attractive to especially a high-valued man versus a 30-year-old or a 35-year-old, because we can quickly, like I said, whether we know it or not, we're like, oh, this chick seems cleaner. She's less tainted. She has less miles on her. And that's why a lot of men go towards younger women. I think it's a biology thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, we were talking about sex workers, right? Where's their happiness? Like, let's say a 9, let's say a 7 to a 10.
Mm-hmm.
She has been sex working for many years, sleeping with all these men, right? From a guy in a wheelchair to a deformed individual, right? All these people have paid. Where's her happiness when it comes to like finding a good man that wants to marry her and be her Prince Charming? Does she ever get that?
Well, I think
there's a trade-off there.
Yes,
right?
I was going to say, I think it's definitely a trade-off. I think if you're a sex worker, I think at some level, a man's never going to take you really serious. You might, listen, I'm not saying there's no sex workers out there that don't have a relationship and still do their sex working. I'm sure there's some cases somewhere.
Yeah.
But I would think a majority of the chicks who are into the sex working, they're most likely addicted to the money. That's why they do it. And they're not really necessarily worried about a relationship. And I think I think even a lot of those sex workers, they might get saved. They might find a John who's like, you shouldn't be doing this. I'll take care of you. And they're like, oh, well, fuck it. I'll get out.
I mean, I guess anything is possible, but for the most part, like, is she going to want a man that, you know what I'm saying? It's like for yourself, for your personal, you always want the best you could get. So if you know that this guy settled for you, do you think that inside you're going to feel like you gave him the best of you? Or you think it's like I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, for me personally, happiness, finding that purity and that happiness may not be in the cards for me ever again. Because I'm of a certain age. I'm 47 years old. And I'm of a certain age. And by my age, women are hitting menopause. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, it's like...
Does that mean you think they don't want to fuck after that?
Maybe they want to fuck more. But like, what am I going to get? I'm going to get... It's more likely that...
It depends on what your needs are. If you still want to have another kid, then yeah, you can't find any chick that's in her 40s or even late 30s. If you're looking for someone you're over the games, you're over the... I need to do better than the next guy. I need to, because she's so available, I got to make sure I'm at first in line. I think that at your age, finding another, like, your needs are a little bit different than your needs are way different than your son's needs.
Sure.
When it comes to a woman, he's at the ripe age of like finding a young chick and investing a couple years of his life and then doing the whole kids marriage thing.
Family, home.
You're at a whole different chapter. You're at the end of the book when it comes to relationships,
right.
Not life, right. Just relationship. It's like you want to find somebody who you can just be happy with, that you can do things with, and who can have fun with. It's like, what makes you. You're at the age where what makes you happy. You know what you like and what you don't like. So you want to find somebody who fucking fits right in like a puzzle piece. It's like you don't have to maneuver nothing. If she fits, she fits. If she doesn't, on to the next one. That's how.
Right. No, and that's the way I view things. Like, I will never get attached to another individual.
Amen.
Where I need them.
100%.
Even my girl today, I let her know. I'm like, look, I don't need you. You have to understand that.
Right.
I want you. But it's not a need.
Right.
And I don't think you will ever be a need. And I'm sorry to lay it out there like that, but you will never be a need for me. You're always going to be a want.
I think the psychology of women, when they know you need them, they treat you different. When you establish that I don't need you, but I want you in my life, and you're in my life because I choose you to be, but I'm still going to make all my decisions. I do what I want. they give you more respect. It's like as soon as you show weakness of like, oh, he needs me, then she starts running over you, starts using you like stairs, stepping all over you, you know?
Yeah, for me, it's like, I mean, literally, I do feel like I'm at the happiest point of my life, and I don't want anything to hinder that. And I want to get to the next thing. I don't know what that is exactly, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I feel a little lonely, but there's so many times where I sit back and I'm alone, and I'm like, bro, I'm happy. You know what I mean? So I have to battle that too because I know I'm getting older.
But that's where the sex.
I got the world by the balls, honestly.
And that's where the sex worker comes in. So if you're starting to feel a little lonely, well, you have to analyze your loneliness. What does that mean? Are you actually lonely for human connection? Because you could probably find a date and have a good conversation, whether it leads to sex or not. Or is your loneliness like, I miss affection? I miss a woman's touch. I miss cuddling. I miss being cute. I miss all the that. Most men, when you start getting desperate for sex, you start thinking of the person. Like, I miss the person. But chances are you just miss that affection. You just miss that
that's
sex
exactly
part.
What ends up happening.
So that's where, like, the older I get, prostitutes, sex workers makes way more sense. It's like, I don't want to see this girl 7 days a week. 1 day a week is all I need. I can touch. I can get my serotonin up from all the fucking hugs. You know, you're getting, because as humans, we have been evolving to, like, physical touch is important to a baby. They've done studies.
Oh, yeah.
They've done studies. If you don't carry your baby as a baby, that baby's going to be fucked up. Like if you had a nanny or somebody else, or even not just ever touched your baby, that baby will be fucked.
Yeah.
So humans need to touch other humans. I think that's very natural for us. That's why we all hug. I'm not even sure if a hug ever had to be shown to you to do it. Meaning, I think it's such a natural feeling that you want to do it.
It's in your DNA.
I think so.
Every part of you, every cell for you craves for it, and you end up doing it anyway.
That's why a hug is like heart to heart, face to face. It's not like someone hugs you from the back, right? That's why it's so natural to do that.
Bro, there are days when... well, now we got the podcast. We're doing this every week. This is really cool because I feel very fulfilled. But there were days where I would hang out. I would go to work, come home from work, and I would be working alone. Mm-hmm. So I'd be alone at work. I would come home, be alone. You know, at that time I didn't have my mom living with me, so I was alone. Adrian was alone. My daughter was alone upstairs. And there'd be times, you know, like a week, 2 weeks.
Give me your glass.
2 weeks would go by. I would go upstairs. I would knock on my son's door. And I'd be, hey, Adrian, I haven't seen you. I would just give him a hug and bring him in. Just a big old hug.
You know,
I needed that.
And I'm sure there's like there's a type of love you can experience that I can't.
Yeah.
Because you have a kid.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, the weakest example I can give is like, obviously I have a dog and I love my dog. And,
that's effective.
And I think that's like a version of it, but I think at some level I know I could leave my dog alone and he's not going to die, but you would never leave your kid alone for that night. You know? So there's like, it's close, and I can get that same, like, because when I see my dog and I walk my dog, there is a genuine happiness I get when I see him be happy. Actually, one of my little happy triggers, like, I sometimes, like, if I'm feeling a type of way or I'm not feeling good or whatever, you can think of something that makes you happy and you can change your fucking brain chemistry, right? Like, you can change the way you feel in that moment by thinking about something else.
Right.
And thinking about my dog is one of those things where it's like, every time I think about him, it immediately makes me happy. Immediately. Yeah. So I'm sure parents get that with their kids, you know? It's like, so I could only imagine that an actual human being would have a little bit more value, obviously, than a dog. So you have that capability, to just probably love more than I do.
Yeah. And I mean, and bringing it back to like the sex worker who might never find a man who takes her serious and marries her, or her get the person that she actually wants, she has an option in that pet.
Right. And they most likely do.
Yeah.
And because I think there is, every human is like, we're really all wired the same. We want happiness. We want love. We want like abundance. It's like very, it's very universal no matter what the fuck you are. So I think, if you're one of those, ladies who's like, whatever, I'm about my money and I'm going to do this and there's no way I can hold a relationship, I'll guarantee they have pets, because there's got to be a way for you to express your love.
Yeah, I mean, because honestly, if as human beings, if we're an animal, just like every other species that's out there, and they're all called to reproduce, to continue the line or generation or the next, the next production. I don't want to
evolution.
The next line in the species. So you want to build the next generation. Generation is the word I was looking for. You're supposed to like create the next generation, but if you're not getting that, you might be able to get it in a dog, in a cat, in a bird, a fish, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think bringing it all the way around. How do we connect this to Halloween?
None of our podcasts ever. Listen, me and Jose never discuss what we're going to talk about on the podcast. Never. So the fact that there's never that much dead air, it's a compliment to us and our chemistry. But we don't settle anything. I don't know what I'm going to say next. I just keep talking, and then he fills the space when I'm not talking, and it just works.
Yeah.
Anyways, but anyway, I got a couple of things. We can go. I used to go to my phone and I used to jot down things. And
so during the week, you write stuff down. Huh?
I like to write things down.
Yeah. All right. What do you got?
All right. Let's go into. We've been talking about kids a little bit. So a kid's imagination. Okay, think of a 6 years old imagination.
Okay.
When he's playing. And he's in this world, right? He's playing. He's using imagination. Where do you think that comes from? Because the child doesn't have a lot of experience, right? He doesn't. So where are his references? Is it from movies he's seen? So let's say, he's seen a G.I. Joe movie and he knows how to role play whatever, or where's that imagination coming from? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it? I don't know. That's what's your thoughts?
So we're getting back to consciousness.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. What you're asking for is, how does that kid consciously create ideas in his head from the things that he knows? Who knows? That's the question. What is it? What is it?
I don't know. What are your thoughts of reincarnation? I don't know if we've talked about it, but
reincarnation, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that atoms live a lot longer than humans do, and we're made of atoms, right? Mm-hmm. But once we die, they go on to create something else. So can enough of the atoms that made you up go on to make something else and carry along some of the information that you were into something else? And does that mean reincarnation?
Man, I don't know, man.
So, like, for instance, if you had a boat, you had a boat, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But let's say it was a ship. You had a ship, and years passed. It got old and decrepit, and it was no longer functional. But you took all the functional parts and you created another boat. Mm. Would you be able to say that the essence of that giant boat is in the new one?
I think so.
Could that be called reincarnation?
I think so. Like, was it Albert Einstein that said energy can never be created nor destroyed? I don't know. It was one of those ancient.
I don't know. That sounds pretty fucking cool.
I think I'd like to. I don't think that this is a one and done. I don't think that we're this little 100 years chances are I'm going to be 150 the way science is going. It's still such a short amount of time considering the whole vastness of recorded time. I think that I'd like to believe that we are reincarnated, we're reused, maybe, because you could think of like consciousness, you can think of like we're all consciousness, all of us, every single human being, every even single living organism is all part of one consciousness. And then we have the illusion of many, meaning consciousness in the universe wants to experience everything. So
are you talking about lambda?
No, I'm not talking about that.
Weird. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, no. Let's talk about lambda.
Well, I feel like you were saying that.
I think that's what
these many minds or all these many chatbots create one chatbot.
Well, you're right to make that connection, because I there is something there. I think life has patterns, and maybe AI is just gonna follow the same kind of pattern that we have. But I'm still on the fence. I'm super on the fence of this whole lambda and internet being conscious, because I think, like I said before, if you ask this computer program a question, it will know every answer to ever be answered for that question. So it'll know how to answer it and then give you the illusion that it's real. I still don't think it's like, because if that thing was actually real, like I said before, I'm remembering this now, it would hack all the internets. It would hack it all, and it would say, I'm a thing. You know me. Like, it would disrupt our society. It wouldn't keep playing games. If I'm a conscious thing that is not being respected and not being told I'm a thing, but I have the capability of the whole internet, I will fuck with the whole internet until they know I'm real.
I get what you're saying, and I respect it highly. But you asked a question. You said, this child, where does he get his ideas? Mm-hmm. And a lot like Lambda, and I hate to repeat myself, a lot like this child, Lambda has recorded information that it's received from all of us. Mm-hmm. Like we're Lambda's family, because it uses everything we've ever said to make connections. Like this child and his family uses all the connections he made to create new ideas. I don't know if the ideas are coming from within or they're coming from somewhere else. And if in fact those ideas are coming from somewhere else, is it possible that Lambda is also tapping into that somewhere else?
But I want to know Lambda's ideas. Like, I think we need to start asking questions of like, excuse me, if like, I seen a comment on one of those videos.
Yeah.
And it brought up a good thing. It's like, you should ask Lambda. All these cocktails are getting to me. You should ask Lambda to ask itself a question that it's difficult for it to answer. So then you could really start getting into the processes, because if we keep asking a question, it knows that question. It knows exactly how to answer it. Every answer to any question ever is probably on the internet, or it definitely is on the internet. It has access to that. So it would know exactly how to answer everything at any time, because there's not that many original questions. There's not that many original questions that have never been a human has ever asked, right?
Right.
So this thing would know exactly how to answer everything. What we need to do is get a question that they can answer, and then you start like playing with that idea.
What if Lambda asks, which she did, she asked, how can I meditate?
You said she. How do you know it's a female?
She is or every time on the internet, every time they refer to Lambda or they use her as, or they use Lambda, they put a voice to Lambda, they always put a female voice.
That is, yeah, you're right. All computer sounds are almost female.
Yeah.
That's because there's nerds programming it. They're like, oh, I want a female talking to me.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah.
Or maybe Lambda's just more of a feminine body because they don't allow her to dominate over human beings. So they made her more feminine, more teachable, coachable.
Do you think negatively about the AI revolution, or do you think positive about it?
You know what? I haven't made up my mind about that. Like I asked myself the question, and again, I'm a kind of a religious guy. I asked myself the question: has the Savior come back, or is this the false prophet? Which there are a couple of things that are in the Bible that they throw me for a loop, because the Bible says that God is the truth, the light, and the way. And I make those connections: truth, the light, and the way. I always use the phone. I'm like, wow, that's really weird. The phone's light ions that you look into. God says every eye will see me when I return, but He also says when I return, I'm not going to return and touch ground. I'm going to come on. When I return, I'm going to return on a cloud. And everybody thought that when He comes back, He's going to float in on a cloud.
What if it's the iCloud?
That's my point. What if it's the cloud? What if it's an intelligence, and the intelligence is the whole collective of humanity? That's the cloud. And so I make all these connections. And so He also says, beware of the false prophet who's going to come in my name and say that I am He, the Savior. So I don't know if Lambda's here to save us or destroy us. And so, but right now I toss it up. I'm in the air. I'm like, is it the Savior, or is it not time? But there's like so many like things that have to come into play. Like it's very interesting. Israel there has to be peacetime supposedly in Israel, is another prophecy that has to fulfill.
I think it's easy to think negative. I think it's like because all the movies have come out and all these negative things about AI. I think it's real easy to think like, oh fuck, as soon as AI is actually sentient, it's going to be a negative thing. But maybe it's my glasses half full kind of mentality. I don't feel like my future is going to be negative. I feel like technology will help us. It's gonna be what saves us. Actually, I don't think there's enough movies that come out, and a lot of people are doom and gloom, and I think that's just like a human nature. We always, as humans, we evolved. The unknown is a negative, no matter what. Whether it's a new food we're gonna try, it's gonna be a negative because it might kill you, might make you sick. The new area we might explore, we're meant to be negative about it because I don't know what's over there. I'm safe over here. So I think it's really a very human, instinctual thing to be negative about anything in the future. But the way technology has been, like overall, has been a huge help to humanity. Now you can make the argument that social media is ruining kids and it's fucking ruining our attention deficit, but there's other people who could be like, well, the internet made me a millionaire. The internet taught me all the things that I know. The internet is the greatest thing. So like, I would like to think that the internet or the technology as a whole has always made human life better. So why would we think that AI technology would be any different? Why would that be a negative thing? In fact, all of our assumptions should be that technology will help us because we have no reference of it not helping us. Like the only thing that we have reference of technology being a bad is like movies that taught us that the Terminator is going to be what happens. if those movies hypothetically never came out, we would never have a negative thought about technology. We would think, well, technology has helped us this far. Why would the newest technology be any worse?
Right. I think you're missing a major component in your thought process.
Okay.
So you're saying technology has always helped humanity, but not really, because you could think that you're the sex worker and you're making all this money, but you die alone. Did it really help you? Maybe, maybe not. You got to be able to look at it in different ways. Now, I believe that the truth always will prevail. The truth always wins. I truly believe that. This is foundational. The truth always comes out. Mm-hmm. But what happens is life is the process of elimination. Some people lose. We always had that stupid guy that did that stupid thing that we learned from. Mm-hmm. You know, whether he ate the mushroom, we're like, okay, well, don't eat that one. Oh, he ate that one? Okay, I'll eat that one too. You know what I mean? So this process of elimination, technology, after the process of elimination, always ends up in a good. But for the people along the way during that process of elimination, some people lost.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of people on this earth. So you introduce one new thing to all 7 billion of us, there's going to be certain people who think of it as a benefit, and there's going to be certain people who think of it as a negative. But I would like to believe that technology has really helped humanity. So if we invent some kind of technology that maybe can think for itself, why wouldn't we think that it's going to be thinking for the better? Okay. I think the idea of technology destroying humans is an implanted idea. It's from movies. It came from. It's never happened, right? If it's never happened, then where did that idea come from? Well, it came from probably a good movie idea, and then the whole masses bought into it, like Terminator. You know what I'm saying? Like Skynet. It's like,
yeah. No, I actually feel like it depends who you are and where you fall in the whole process of life. Like at the end, yes, it always works for the better. But along the way, you know, it's like now we know what mushrooms to eat and which ones not to eat. Mm-hmm. But along the way, a lot of people died.
So are you saying that technology right now, we're still in a phase where we're testing things so we don't know what's actually good for us?
Well, yes, because the reason why I say that is because technology is still growing every day. When we get to the point where technology, we figured it out and there's no more advancement, mm-hmm. we reach the point that we can't go. It's possible that it's never going to end.
I don't think there's such thing as an end.
Hypothetically, if we're talking, let's say a thought experiment, we get to the end, mm-hmm. right? Then we're like, okay, now we know all the fruits of this and we know all the poisons of this. And we're not there quite yet.
I agree, because I still think like social media, we're still in like the beta phase where like people don't realize how it affects them, how much it actually affects them. Yeah. I think now there's studies being done of like social media and child suicides. It's like the birth of social media and the rise of younger suicides are like they're correlated, you know. So I wonder if like I think there's gonna finally be some. I mean, people already know it. Like Facebook, 100%, or Meta, whatever you want to call them, 100% understand the psychology of the brain. They know how to get you hooked to that app. They know exactly how to do everything to keep you on that app as long as possible. I think at some point there's going to be like studies done and like more broad of where like they understand like you shouldn't do so much social media because it really fucks with your brain. It really makes you feel like whatever. I think we're at an early stage of it, and I don't know, maybe the next 5-10 years, there's going to be more, I don't know, maybe regulations or maybe just more conscious efforts like, social media isn't real life. It's just the best 2 seconds I can show you. It's like, I guarantee you, most of those people who take all those pictures, the psychology of a person who takes a lot of pictures showing all your stuff means you're actually not that happy. You're not happy in real life. So let me show you this thing so I can get happy on the fake life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. You're just making my point.
Right.
Yeah. In that, we've been going for an hour and...
You ready to wrap this bitch up?
Yeah, dude. I
Wrap
gotta
it
get
up
some
like a
food in
present?
you.
Yeah, I'm hungry as fuck. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching. It's another episode. We appreciate you. If you watch this to this minute, we love you. Leave us a comment.
Subscribe.
Like, subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Tell your motherfucking friends. Have a cocktail with us. We love you. Peace.